I trained myself to recognize how I felt, to discern. Because if the Spirit of the Lord resides within me, then I should feel the fruits of the Spirit. But if the enemy of my soul is trying to take me captive or infiltrate, I'm probably going to feel other things. And so what I would do is when I would feel these other things, I struggled with pornography. So when I would deal with lust, or a thought would come to my mind, or if I was dealing with shame, for whatever reason, those thoughts, as they would come into my mind, and I would recognize they didn't come from God, because they don't produce either godly sorrow, humility, meekness, love, all of those things, right? There's a difference between guilt, godly, true remorse, and then shame. And I think that's the journey, is to just try. And the Lord honors that. Um, I just want you to know, brother, that uh, what you've done for me, just a little bit that you've done in the time that we've known each other, has made such an impact in my heart. It's such a manifestation of God's love and deliverance as I've gone through a season of trial. Um, and that's such a tender mercy. So in my life, when I see you, I see an angel in the flesh that helped a servant of the Lord in his time of need. Right. And that's beautiful. I hope to be an angel in the flesh. I hope that's what I do. I've always had this fantasy, because I've loved the story of Abraham entertaining angels. I've always had this fantasy of like I just love serving people, and I love being hospitable, because it's like I think it'd be super cool to just get to the other side and be like, "Oh, dude, are you serious? I want how many angels have we entertained unknowingly?" Right? And it's like I love it. And so I think of every opportunity to, even if it's just a smile, if it's holding the door open for someone, if it's just listening to someone when they're going through a bad time, or giving them a hug, or all of these different things, uh, I feel like are so powerful and so simple. What I usually do, a practice that I have taken to help me overcome the false beliefs and lies that the adversary has tried to entrap me with, shame and guilt and all of that stuff, is I take index cards, 3x5 index cards. And I have thousands of them now, but you can start off with 10 or 15. And what I would recommend doing is consider the thoughts that you have. So if it's a thought about worthiness or connection to God, if those are the things, if you feel like you're not measuring up, if it's inadequacy or rejection or whatever the belief is that disconnects you from walking in your spiritual authority as a son of God, I would encourage you to go to the Lord and ask him to help reveal to you scriptures that are associated with those themes.
Hmm.
And so what I do is I've taken these 3x5 index cards, and I mean I went as far as writing songs, really little, on these index cards, like how firm a foundation, like that was something that really edified me, about going through fiery trials and walking through deep water, right? So I take all of these spiritual thoughts, scriptures. I used to write conference address thoughts and stuff like that, and things from my journal, whatever. I would write them on these index cards, and I would carry them with me. And when I trained myself to recognize how I felt, to discern, because if the Spirit of the Lord resides within me, then I should feel the fruits of the Spirit. But if the enemy of my soul is trying to take me captive or infiltrate, I'm probably going to feel other things. And so what I would do is when I would feel these other things, I struggled with pornography. So when I would deal with lust, or a thought would come to my mind, or if I was dealing with shame, for whatever reason, those thoughts, as they would come into my mind, and I would recognize they didn't come from God, because they don't produce either godly sorrow, humility, meekness, love, all of those things, right? There's a difference between guilt, godly, true remorse, and then shame. But eventually, I think it doesn't matter. recognizing all of those emotions, when I recognize something that I perceived, whether I was right or wrong, if I perceived that it could create a negative result within my body that the adversary could then manipulate to his advantage, I would use that as a trigger to take out my cards, my sword of the spirit, and I'd start, wielding my sword of the spirit. So these are the things that I'm, reading. You know, there's no fear in love because perfect love casts out all fear, right? So why am I fearing? There's nothing can separate me for the love of God, right? Nothing at all. I give unto men weaknesses that they may be humble. And if a man humble himself and confess his weakness to me, I'll show him I make weak things become strong. Right. And so as I take all of the, and then what he said to Joseph, right? No matter what happens to you, know that all these things will give you good, be for your experience. Has not the Son of Man descended below all things? Oh, Nick, get out of the pit. He's been through it too, right? So all of these different scriptures I would write. And so as the adversary would try to hit me with grief, with misery, with pain, with any kind of afflicting spiritual dart or arrow, those are his weapons, right? As he would hurl his weapons at me in my mind in the battlefield, on the battlefield, I would then, through my spoken word, I wouldn't just read them, I would speak it out loud, right? Because there's something powerful. When you speak something that you wrote, your mind registers it as your own creation. So even though you've copied the words from the scriptures, your mind is going to speak it and believe that it created it. It's reading it. So that's the energy you put out into your sphere. So I call that strengthening my borders, my border. This is my kingdom, my vessel, the kingdom of God, right? And to be able to protect my mind is to strengthen my borders against the attacks of the adversary. So what if you feel impressed to, that's something that's helped me, is to take the index cards. I call it my battle card strategy. To take my battle cards and remind yourself of the mercies and the blessings and the promises of God. And I found in my experiences, I've done these things, that it's been my way of writing the scriptures on the fleshy tablets of my heart. They've become so real to me because I've needed them. When I was battling porn, when I was battling shame, when I was battling other addictions, like, considering these words they've been etched into my heart in such a way that now I don't I don't even I don't even need the cards. I like to use them sometimes, but now what's happened over time is those thoughts come into my mind, my brain, my P body telestial mind, it still doesn't even entertain some of those things. It's like, wait, no, you don't have time for frustration. No, you don't have time for bitterness.